Hello, party people, and welcome to an extra special episode of Cast Party presented by Shays Performing Arts Center. My name is Rita Sirianni, and with me today I have my co-party hosts. On this side of the table, Juliana Tracy.
Hello, hi.
And on the same side of the table, Ken Lazewski.
This is the coolest environment. We need to shoot here every time.
Yes.
This is awesome.
And video,
They
yes.
can see my reaction.
I'm glad you did too. I'm glad.
Yeah.
And another big thing today is the building is shaking at Shays because we've broken ground. And it's not shaking here. This building's okay, right?
I think so.
Okay, good. Because I wasn't sure if the whole street was shaking or what's going on. But we are happy to be out of the office and in a beautiful studio here. So this is great.
Yeah, big thank you and shout out to Jordan Lema of Lemur Studios. He is recording with us today. And also, we have our friends from Casting Buffalo here. Thank you guys so much for being here. We have Harry Lipsitz and Peter Johnson. For those who don't know, Casting Buffalo LLC is the premier casting company for film, TV, and commercial productions in Western New York. Officially founded in 2020, the partnership began during the production of Marshall in 2017, starring the late, great Chadwick Boseman. Since then, Casting Buffalo has since become a cornerstone for talent casting throughout the region and beyond. With a discerning eye for talent and a commitment to cultivating lasting industry relationships, Casting Buffalo has contributed to some of the most notable productions filmed and around the Queen City, including The First Purge, A Man Called Otto, and Holiday Touchdown, A Bill's Love Story, to name a few. You can also catch Harry and Peter on their own exciting podcast hosted here at Lemur Studios, available wherever wonderful podcasts are streamed. Check out their website, castingbuffalo.com, for more information on opportunities, their pod, merch, and exciting upcoming events. Please welcome to the party, Casting Buffalo and Jordan Lema. This was really exciting to have you guys. When I got a message from y'all a bit ago asking about the pod, I was like, yes, please join us.
Yeah, Rita wouldn't stop talking about it.
I was
It's like, I didn't get here.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, no, she was so excited. She was so excited.
I was excited. Could you guys each talk a little bit about yourselves and how you got into casting? And Jordan, like what your operation is here for folks who don't know?
Of course, yeah. Do you want to start or should I start?
You start,
Okay.
Jordan.
Well, I am not officially from Casting Buffalo, but I'm a Casting Buffalo partner and friend.
Absolutely. Through association.
Yeah. So I'm on the Casting Buffalo podcast, Podcasting Buffalo.
You are?
And I'm glad to be. Through the Buffalo 40-Hour Film Project, I'm a hub for filmmakers and creators to get together and make films, win awards, have a really good time. And that's just such a symbiotic thing with what Casting Buffalo does. And they even now say to actors, hey, if you want to be in something, you got to go out there and make it yourself. And the 40-Hour Film Project is the really ideal time to do that. It's wonderful.
So, yeah, just to piggyback on what Jordan said, we are Casting Buffalo, Peter and I, and we called ourselves Casting Buffalo to do just what we are called, to cast Buffalo, to put Buffalo on the stage, to put them on a podium, so to speak. So that is always sort of our overall mission as a company. And certainly, partnering with people like Jordan we see as somebody else who's, constantly helping to put Buffalo and this community on a pedestal and spotlight it. So that's just one other reason why our partnership, works as well as it does. But to tell you a little bit more about us, we were formed back in 2020 officially.
Thank you.
But our association began much longer than that. Peter, do you want to talk a little bit about, how we sort of came to come together?
So I've known Harry since he was 15 years old. Seriously.
The Lord.
Like we're outside of this being a partnership business, Harry is also like family, So I've known Harry for quite a while. I started off in this business prior to being a casting director, but I'm also a performer. I'm an actor. And I would say this was back in, I'm going to say 2015 around. I had a friend of mine who came to Buffalo, was shooting a movie. His name is John Abrahams. He was in Scary Movie, Meet the Fockers. He's been in a lot of bigger Hollywood films, and he was coming to Buffalo to shoot this movie. I had a relationship with him, and oftentimes as an actor, one of the skills that you had when you're a good one is that good actors recognize other good actors.
Yeah.
And John came to me and he said, hey, Peter, I'm shooting this movie. You're a good actor. Help me cast this movie. Help me find people in Buffalo. And that's kind of what I did. And, I put him on to a lot of people in the theater. Stephen McKinley Henderson is from Buffalo. He's a mentor of mine. I got him in the movie.
We just inducted him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I've known Stephen since I was 14 years old as well.
Wow.
So, at that time, I helped cast this movie, and I needed an assistant. Harry had just finished film school, in Pittsburgh, and I said, you know what? Hey, come work with me on this movie. So Harry helped me cast this movie, and lo and behold, who the second assistant director was on that movie was Kyle. So for people that know the order of how films work, is that the background actors report to the second assistant director, and that's who Kyle was. So Kyle worked with us a lot on this movie in the extras realm. And that's kind of when we found out, like, oh, we kind of all gel and we kind of work together really well. And then later on, there was another movie that was being shot in Buffalo. It was the movie Marshall with Chadwick Boseman, Josh Gad. And I was hired as the assistant to the main casting director for that movie. And Kyle and Harry was working in extras on that movie. So we were all working in the same building on that movie, and then once my assignment ended with the primary casting director, I got transferred over to work with them again in background. Yep. And that's kind of what started the machine to moving. And I think that in 2020, as Harry mentioned, what we found was that there were a lot of movies that was coming to town, and we were all interviewing for the same position for these movies. And I said, why are we competing against one another? I said, we're friends, we work together. I said, how about we just form this company and we monopolize it all? And that's exactly what we did, was we formed this company. And since then, as it was read in the bio, we are considered the premier casting company. We are what's called an independent casting company. And this is probably we're the only company like this, I would say, on the East Coast, okay? When I say independent casting company, that means we don't represent actors. We don't represent any agencies. And usually in the business, how it works is when you want to get cast in a movie is that you have to have an agent. The agents usually have the relationships with the casting directors. Sure. Right. It's very rare that someone without experience can even have the opportunity to audition. But what we found in Buffalo was that a lot of the directors, they wanted authentic people. They wanted real faces. They wanted, people that wasn't caught up in the industry. They wanted real people for these roles. So for us, we decided to not just work with agents. We wanted to work with everyone, the general public. So that's why we classify ourselves as an independent casting agency, because anyone that wants to get into the business can essentially audition for us.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you have it. That's how we got started there.
And I am Rita and Juliana's agent, by the way.
Yeah.
I've always said.
Yeah.
He's always
Juliana keeps doing that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
The cool thing is, as a part of our jobs, because we are an independent casting company, I actually prefer to work with just people, right? I don't like working with the agents. I don't like working with the managers. We love it when people that don't have the representation get cast, because we realize that, this is helping people's careers, and this is for the average person. The average person who has no experience can literally audition or see what's going on. They can get background opportunities, through us. And you don't have to go through the actual rigmarole of getting an agent and representation in order to actually be a part of these films.
A really cool thing these guys are doing too is educating people on how to get involved through the Podcasting Buffalo podcast. I've learned so much about this process because, I'm in a separate lane, and by knowing them, I'm getting pulled over in this direction. They also do the Actors Expo, which is an amazing event where all sorts of vendors come. People are doing panel discussions. It's a wonderful event where people can learn about how to get involved in the industry. So, it's breaking down that wall of needing an agent, needing someone to get you in the door. These guys can help.
Absolutely. And with a part of what we do is we want to educate people, right? We realize that Buffalo has been getting movies, I would say, on a consistent basis now for the last 10 to 12 years. But that's still considered new. right? So you have people that don't have a lot of knowledge about the business. So for us, because we have so much experience, it's better if you have that knowledge, right? If you know what you're doing when you're auditioning, you know how the business works, or, you know, so it's beneficial for us to educate those about the business and say, hey, you know, if this is the route you want to go, these are acting coaches, then we have managers available. If you're looking to do self-tape auditions, we have people for that. And it makes the process a lot seamless versus if you're new to the business trying to figure it out by yourself.
And I would say to that same point that, you know, we deal, Peter and I, and with casting, we deal a lot with, you know, Hollywood executives or directors or folks from either LA or New York, some of the larger market cities. So their expectations when they come into Buffalo is generally pretty on par with what they expect back in their own places they come from, you know? So we need to continue to improve and grow and help strengthen the base we have here to also prove to these people who come in, like, look, we do have what you have
quality
back
actors.
There, you know what I mean?
That's what
have the same
have quality
thing here,
talent.
you know?
That you have in LA.
And the other thing I'll say too is to the sort of educational or development side of things is, as actors, if you're not actively auditioning for something or actively employed in a production, say, what are you doing, right? There should be things you are doing, working on your craft outside of things that are unrelated to it, like, you know, a secondary job you may have to have, because we understand how this market is. But you should also be doing other things that are centric towards being an actor, right? The same thing goes for us, right? As casting directors, we may not always be actively going through submissions or, you know, actively posting casting notices for, you know, a current job. You know, that may be something coming down the pipeline, but in the meantime, what are we doing, right? We can only help the talent pool as best as we can during that time, you know, because it's beneficial. It's mutually beneficial.
Over the last 10 to 12 years, the Buffalo film community, in association with the theater community and all of the actors that are a part of this, it is just that. It is such a community effort here. You know, Buffalo is extremely rich in theater, right? Like, we know that. You know, for me, I started as a theater actor. I'm still doing theater. I mean, I think we have over like 19 local theaters. It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot, right? Local theaters here, in conjunction with the films that are happening here. So depending on which direction an actor wants to go, it's a plethora of work, and it's a good place to be. It's not oversaturated like New York, right? It's not oversaturated like LA. So when you're good and you're in Buffalo, you can work a lot.
Yeah.
You
When
know?
you say like theater actor, like, is that like, do you have a lot of people in theater that audition for like movies?
Yeah.
Like right now on Broadway, I'm thinking like the guy from Harry Potter, because we were talking about it, but like he's on the Tom Felton, right? Like he was
We definitely do. And I think, you know, there's a lot to be said about an actor who has the ability to perform both on the stage and, you know, in front of the camera. Peter can speak.
Yeah.
You mentioned that too. Like, what does that look like?
So let me just say, you know, again, for me as a performer, naturally, I've been doing this for a long time, just on the performance side, and I started in the theater. I recommend every actor start in the theater. Reason being is that you get a lot of foundation. In the theater, you learn how to listen. You learn how to, you know, control your body movements. Theater is where you learn the mechanics of acting. Then you transition to film, right? And here's the thing: it's not, of course, it's not any specific way you got to do it. I'm just saying that this is, for me, I learned the mechanics in theater, and then you transition to film. So, in my opinion, some of the best actors have that theater experience, right? So we get a lot of actors that come from theater, and they present strong on camera because they have those mechanics. They know what they're doing. They know the thought process of how to dissect a script and things of that sort. And if you haven't been doing those, if you haven't been, you know, dissecting a script or reading in between the characters, you're going to miss a lot of the nuances that these characters are supposed to have. So oftentimes, when I'm looking at an audition, I can tell when that person either has a background in theater.
I was going to ask you, can you tell right away?
I can tell.
Someone's,
For sure, because you see it in the performance. Absolutely.
There's a difference in acting for film and acting for stage.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't go well on the film side if people are projecting to the back of the room and putting on their big.
I was going to ask you for the devil. Is it
No,
sometimes doesn't work? Where you're
It's
like,
a different style, right? So it's a different style. When you're in theater, you're playing to an audience. It's hundreds of people. You need to make sure that your movements are bigger, your expressions are bigger because you don't. But in film, the camera catches everything. It catches the amount of times that you blink, how many times that you inhale. It catches everything, and you have to be able to control that. So your nuances and everything has to be subtle. But the good ones know how to transition, right? The good ones, and when I say the good ones, because they're able to make choices with those characters when you have experience, right? And if you can translate that on camera, then you're going to be a really good actor. And that's what, for me, the difference when I do theater shows versus a film, I get so much more preparation time in the theater. Theater when you're doing it, you might rehearse for 5 weeks before that show goes up, right? So now I'm really diving into the psyche of this character, all of the backstory.
Sure.
Film, you may not have that option.
And honestly,
right?
that's probably one of the...
Just go right into it?
Yeah. In film, it's let me just say, you probably get one or two rehearsals before they actually shoot.
Very much right in the thick of it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would say to be able to toggle back and forth like that as an actor is definitely one of the most difficult things, I think, as being an actor. Because if in the whole business of acting, we as casting directors are often pushing actors to diversify themselves, right? Be in plays, be in movies, be in commercials, do voiceover work. From our standpoint, do it all as much as you can, because there's nothing bad about that. It's only going to help you, right? Obviously, as you grow and become a veteran actor, you become more keen on what you're going to do, right? Somebody like Stephen McKinley Henderson, he's not doing everything anymore. He knows what he can do. He does what he wants to do. You know what I mean? But as an actor who's still climbing that ladder, we see it beneficial to be hungry to do anything, right? Yeah. But to be able to toggle that and go, I know the balance that's needed on stage. I know the balance that's needed when I do commercial work. That is something that you as an actor only can hone in on from the experience and knowing it yourself. It's like when you hear people say they've developed a touch for something. That's what that is. Yeah. Like
they can turn it
people
on
can try to teach acting
right?
and can teach aspects of acting all they want. But when it comes down to that stuff, that's something that intrinsically can really only be learned by the actor themselves. And it's not something that happens overnight. It takes time.
What's kind of cool about you guys as this premier casting group in Buffalo being a smaller community is you guys can actually, I feel probably get a better sense of people's evolution too. Like a person who auditions for you one time, you might be all right, maybe this isn't it this time, but because it's a smaller community, you can watch them grow.
And I love it. I love when that happens.
Awesome.
Let me
you
just
get to
say,
know the people?
Oh yeah,
have you known some of these people that have started as background extra? Is that same as an extra, or is that different?
Same thing. Yeah, okay. Same thing. But I see it all the time. We've had a ton of examples of people that come in that maybe start off, background, but then you see them get that one line. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's great. And then then they get another part, right? We see it all the time, and it's the most rewarding thing, that we see. And we encourage actors because this is a very tough business to be in. And when I say that is that oftentimes you're going to hear more no's than you will yeses. That is the reality of this business. Yeah. But it's a great thing when you see the person that's consistent and they keep going and it's like, oh wow, I landed this. Oh, then I landed that, and then you see their careers take off. We see that all the time. It just really makes us proud.
We've got people in the 40-hour film project that are 10, 12 years in, and you've seen them grow as actors. You see them grow into filmmakers themselves. They make their own teams. They start making
unbelievable.
Films.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's awesome to see people grow like that.
Rita, you've been in the 48-hour film festival, right?
I have two.
Two of them now?
Yeah. Oh. It's very exciting.
Had some great success as well.
I was going to say, I don't want to, that's why I was waiting for Rita to be like, "Whoa, guess what?"
But
Very humble.
I did learn a lot between the first year and the second year, and like what was really cool and something special that I hadn't clocked before because I don't have a lot of experience in film was like, I was like, is it okay if I ask questions? Because sometimes on sets you can't, and that's okay. And the group I was with was like, yeah, ask whatever question you want, go for it. And so because of 48 being such like a homegrown like group community effort, I really got to learn from my peers, which was really nice.
It's such a cool environment. I tell people all the time, if you're interested in something, you got to learn every aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. For me, I've been a performer. I've produced some films. There hasn't been one job that I haven't done, because it's one of those things that like when it's all hands on deck, that's what it requires, right? So like, you're for the 48 hour, you're messing with film lights.
Right.
You've never done that before. You might have to hold the boom. You know what I'm saying? It's all types of things, but it's a community effort, but also it's strengthening you to learn that industry, right? And I tell people, acting may not be for you, right? But you got to do different jobs to find out what you like.
Yes.
It's
That's why you intern. College to figure out what you like or don't like.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly right.
There were some episodes of the podcast talking about doing other jobs on set as crew to get closer to the set and to learn more too. So, you might not have a role all the time, but you can get a job in other roles as PAs and whatnot, where you can still be involved. You can meet everyone and make connections and stay earning money.
Well, that's exactly why I became a casting director. Because here's the thing: as an actor, you're sitting around waiting for the phone to ring, or like, what else can I do?
Yeah.
Let me utilize this talent that I have, that I know how to perform, and that I can help other people get jobs. And it was also a way of like keeping myself working when I wasn't working.
Fill the
Great
gaps.
point. Absolutely.
I have so much respect. Like you said, like these guys and girls, like they're grinding. They're working a part-time job and they keep consistently showing up. I mean, Juliana's an actress, and I watched her go to work from 9 to 5 at Shays, and then we saw her opening night. And I'm like, you have to do that every night after you work.
Yeah.
But I just have so much respect. I knew very little before I started working at Shays about this whole industry and just theater and the film and all that. But the amount of respect I have for the folks that want to make it, and they will do whatever it takes. They'll work the part-time job and then go at night and then perform either on the film set or,
There's a difference.
It's just unbelievable.
The difference is, are you in it to be famous or do you love it? If you're in it to be famous, you're going to fizzle out real fast. Real fast.
You see a lot of those people?
Oh, man. Listen, we get here because here's the thing. We get them, and then it's like the person that, even when they get a job, right, they figure out all these different ways of how they can't make it to the job. Oh, I can't do it. I got this sitter. I got a doctor's appointment that day. You mean to tell me I'm giving you a job and you're telling me this is something you want to do, but you can't reschedule a doctor's appointment for that? Right? That tells me you don't want to do this. You're in it for a completely another reason. So we see that when if you don't love this as a craft, you're not going to sustain.
You guys can tell. Like you can tell, you can vibe it out.
Yeah.
I could see it on stage. Like,
Do one show. One show. You'll see who loves it and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is because you also have to understand, at the very beginning stages, it's not like you're getting a lot of money.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Those people really must love it because they have to, because they're not getting a lot of money and they are working during the day.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not here for the money. You know what I mean? I'm here because I love it. I'm here for the craft.
Yeah.
Like when you start, your job has to be auditioning,
Yes.
and the reward is the gig.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Your
job is auditioning.
Yeah, that was something I learned because I got a BFA in music theater, and that was like one of the first things that they said was the job is auditioning over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then,
And you're going to hear more no's. It's just a part of
simply
it.
that,
It's let me just tell you, from what we see, it's an extremely competitive business. So if we're casting a commercial, let's say it's one principal, we may get 5,000 people to submit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeez, is that how auditions are here locally for stuff?
I mean,
Like, is it
not
crazy?
I mean,
Not 5,000, but it's
you
crazy.
could, but like
For theater, here's the thing. For theater, it's not that, right? I'm talking.
Oh, really?
Maybe
This is
commercial.
oh, yeah,
right,
sure. Okay,
commercial.
yeah.
But the odds are really. It's in New York Broadway. Maybe it's
God.
probably 5,000.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I get it.
New
Yeah, I
York
got
City
you.
or something like that.
those
Those EPA lines.
EPA, ECCs.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
It's necessary.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
It's like the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Because you have to
The
line
non-union
up.
line. Oh.
Yeah, you could show up as a non-union actor and not be seen at all.
I was not seen.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
went,
Yeah, you
like-
said that. So, yeah.
I went
even
to
if you
New York.
sign up at 8 a.m. right when the monitor
doesn't
gets
matter.
there, it doesn't matter because equity folks go 1st. So there's like a point system and it's a whole
It's a whole thing. That's a whole nother
Yeah.
conversation.
But I mean, in contrast, what's been really cool with casting Buffalo, like specifically, is like I'm not normally an actor, but there's been some fun opportunities that casting Buffalo has presented. I'm like, I'm gonna try and like,
I was going to say, you've applied for, in the office.
Stand-ins.
Nobody, cover your ears at Chase. Rita has applied for jobs, or not jobs, the acting,
I
acting
came
gigs.
back from a stand-in gig with casting
That's, I
Buffalo.
know, as a stand-in.
And it
You're-
was the best day of my life. And everyone
I'm
was
not.
like,
That's
why
why
is
she
your
was
hair
so damn
wet? And I
excited
was
to
like,
come see you
I
guys.
can't tell you.
yeah, right. She just worked for us as a stand-in,
So fun.
But like, that's someone like Rita, like, I could tell she loved it because she came to the, like, you could just tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's, especially films is a little bit different. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. It's a lot
Yes,
of long
I've heard that.
hours.
Yes, I've
It's
heard that
just,
too, yeah.
It is a lot of standing around, but again, if you love it, you wouldn't choose to be anywhere else. A film set is it's that magical. It's the camaraderie, that's on the set. It's also the learning aspect. So as you were there, I'm sure like she's taking in everything.
Oh, yeah.
Every single thing of what they're doing with the camera, what they're doing with the lighting. And then when they put her in the scene, what is she doing? You learn so much.
Sure.
If you immerse yourself in an opportunity like that, almost always at that level of a production, almost always there will be something else that will come of it.
It was, and like kind of like just to kind of show how quickly you can go across if you started on one, want to do the other. Like when I finished that day and I was, wrapping up, they went, "You're a theater kid, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." Yes, I am. Because they like appreciate that attitude. And I think like as long as you have a good attitude that a lot of folks cultivate in theater, which is like, yeah, I'm here to say yes, I'm here to do it. That makes all the difference. And that's part of it.
I feel like you have to. I mean, you talked about camaraderie on these sets and a team atmosphere. You have to have a good attitude. Otherwise, I feel like it can get toxic. Like if you
Well, think about it. You're doing a minimum of most film sets will go a minimum of 10 hours. Right? That's
Okay.
10. So you're doing a 10-hour day.
10-hour day. Right. That's what you have to have.
And you're doing 5 to 6 days a week. And that's as a crew member. I'm just saying as a crew. So to have a toxic attitude, nobody wants to work around.
right. I was going to say you have to have a team.
You don't have time
atmosphere.
for that.
No.
Yeah, the dare to say yes attitude is nearly essential in the indie filmmaking world because a lot of that is just like everyone's saying here, 95% for the love.
Right.
And anyone who's not there to play ball just isn't really even welcome.
And you can feel that too. Same with everything. Yeah. I mean,
you guys have kind of already gotten into this, but like, could you kind of walk through like what an average week looks like for you guys as casting directors here in Buffalo?
Let's describe this week.
Ooh.
I would say first I would say
It's Wednesday.
there's really nothing average about what we do. And I think that's, probably one of the reasons why Peter and myself have gotten so involved and love what we do. You know what I mean? There's always something interesting. There's always something new. There's always something different that's keeping us sort of going. So, we have projects that we're actively working on that always require different things. We can get, casting very black and white to casting things that are needles in a haystack, So that right there can make the job
Let's get specific. No, I'm not gonna. We're gonna. But we were in the process. And this is just we're saying this week, but we were dealing with 2 different commercial shoots. But then also we have an event. As well tomorrow too. That we're also doing. We're discounting headshots for actors.
Oh, the drive-through.
Headshot drive-through, right?
Yes, I think it's such a good idea.
Yeah, because here's the thing: is that people don't understand that you can be cast just off of your photo. It happens all the time.
without anything else.
No audition, no nothing. Hey, we like this person, how he looks. So it's advantageous for you to have a great headshot,
Sure.
Yes.
right? These are things that, as we educate people, so we provide the resources for them to get these things done.
And a current, up-to-date headshot.
Yeah, right. Right, right.
Because you'd be surprised what we've seen.
Or the AI.
Yearbook.
The AI headshots. Oh,
Shout out to my father-in-law. He just updated his LinkedIn picture,
Yeah.
and there's my wife's like, "That's not you."
Yeah.
It's a little. I mean, it is.
AI
documenting AI. It's like a
we see the
combination
AI
of both.
all the time, and we also see people who include yearbook photos from 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait, my headshot's like 3 or 4 years old. I should update that.
You should
Is
get
that
a
too old?
headshot.
No.
No, here's the thing. I would say within that time frame, you got to see, do you look the same?
Yeah,
Did your
it
hair
depends.
grow out?
Yeah, there's
Did you,
variables.
did you lose weight? Did you gain weight? And
I've gained weight.
we also recommend that people have headshots for different things.
Yes.
You shouldn't have just one headshot, right? You got to have multiple headshots.
Like a
Depending on what
If you have
what
glasses.
absolutely, right? You should have multiple.
I should have, yeah.
So this week was just the combination of balancing two separate productions that were happening, as well as organizing, this event. It can get hectic. We're in constant communication with one another. It's a lot of emails. It's a lot of phone calls. It's a lot of reaching out to talent, confirming talent, making sure that they have their instructions, where to arrive, what's their call times. You have to be very detail-oriented to be in casting. That's why our company works so well, each of us, and we care about what we do, right? So, like, if I see something that hasn't been done, I'm not going to say, hey, Harry, I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to pick it up. Hey, listen, we forgot this. And that's what makes any partnership effective. But it's a lot of time management and relationships back and forth between us and talent.
That gives me so much confidence in like what you guys are doing, because it like just showing that you won't let anything fail shows like to me that you won't let your actors when they go out fail.
No. That's let me just tell you, that's key. I think preparing actors, especially the ones that have never been on a film set. What can you expect? We tell them we've had, so we were just casting the movie and we had to let people know, listen, it's cold outside. You're going to be outside. Wear layers. Dress warm, right? But it's also just setting people up for success. As much information we know. If you're a talent, you got to know that information. That's going to make you a better talent when you arrive on set.
Well, your reputation's on the line too. I mean, if you're sending the wrong people out there with the
Absolutely.
wrong expectations, it's not going to look good for you. So it's what you're doing is in your best interest to make sure that it's best for your client, best for the people that are going to be acting.
two-way street.
And you're a middle person that has to have clear communication for success.
And we do a lot of, Harry's really good at this. We do a lot of street casting too. Like Harry, he has this keen mind.
What is that? Can you go? What is that?
So I mean, there's we encounter different directors, different productions who are looking for different things, right? So you may have real actors who they're seeking. You may have people who Peter had mentioned earlier, like real people, for instance, when they want police officers. There's sometimes a real interest in wanting to cast a real police officer for the purposes of like, hey, that person's going to know how they should really be holding their gun or how the arrest should really be looking when they're making the arrest. You know what I mean? So we as casting directors, obviously we, customize the needs of every production and director to match that. But we come across directors, whether it's a commercial or a movie, who are really intent on wanting real people. And if we don't have other resources at hand for those particular real sources of people, we may have to just go out there and find them. Or maybe it's not even that specific, maybe it's just we come across a director who really we've had directors who are maybe a little bit more artistic in their approach, and they just really want real people. Yeah. They don't want actors.
You just go be like, you see somebody on the street and you're like,
Hey,
Harry does.
Want to be
are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, you have to be very careful. Obviously, there's rules. Like, you got to know, as casting directors, we know how to approach, say, like a minor. We're not going to go up to a minor who's not accompanied by a guardian. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it.
There's things that you have to be very clear about, and certainly how you conduct yourself and present that to somebody. You want to have business cards and things that can back up what you're doing. Otherwise, people will think you're the weirdo in that.
I was just waiting. I was waiting for you to say that. The approach that you have the whole pitch.
like what does that sound like? I know like what like you said, but like what is like the I don't want to be like the line to say because obviously it's not. Hey, do you want to be in a movie?
You want to be,
Right.
want to be in a movie?
Want to be a star?
I mean, you give, depending on what the project is, we may not, oftentimes we sign NDAs if it's a big level production. So you got to be careful about what you might be able to disclose. But usually we would have some rehearsed sort of spiel, if you will, that we would present and be able to give people enough information about what we're doing so it's not.
And it's project specific, right? So like I wouldn't just walk up to anyone and say, hey, you look, just call me.
Right.
I'd say, hey, listen, I'm looking for someone that has this height and you match the specifics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I'll say something of that sort.
The Casting Buffalo logo was very validating too, though. It was very helpful to have that. One of their guests was a casting director in reality shows who reaches out to people just cold online. And a question I asked was, well, how do people know it's real?
Right.
And they were like, it was very important for her to qualify herself, to give her references, to show where she worked and what she was doing, because there are a lot of scams out there. So I think to be careful of. But so, if someone does ask you, make sure it's from a casting organization or a credible organization and they qualify who they are.
That's an educational piece right there.
It's an unfortunate part of the industry is there's been not just anything recent, this has been decades. There's scams are not anything new to the entertainment industry. So with technology and the way things are advancing, unfortunately, that's probably only going to increase. We always have to be aware of that. And as casting directors, implementing best practices and trying to encourage talent to do things in the best possible way to protect themselves.
Could you tell the folks a little bit about the Casting Buffalo Actors Expo?
So it's sort of a one-stop shop for actors. We try to have some rough theme to it every year, something that we can kind of have as the overall theme to it. But the idea is to bring resources, vendors, exhibitors, guest speakers, all kinds of folks under one roof for one day at Rich's. This year it's going to be August 22nd.
Oh, nice.
Saturday. Plenty of parking there. And we just want it to be, it's always been meant to be, a day where people who either have never been an actor and are just interested in getting started for the first time or have some level of experience. We want all of those people and the people in between to be able to walk away from that, attending that with something of real benefit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's, for me, I think about it from an actor's mind, right? And I say, I'm always looking for different things to help me as an actor grow. And when we put this event together, I remember looking at Harry and I said, there is nothing like this on the entire East Coast.
Yeah.
Right? I said, there's no other convention that is a one-day, all-resources convention geared towards actors. Not only that, providing the resources, but then the networking. Right? So if you want to be in this business, a part of your journey is going to be networking with other like-minded filmmakers or other like-minded actors. How will you learn about the business in things that you don't know if you don't network, right? Maybe you're just talking to another actor and you want to find out, hey, who did your headshots? Who represents you as an agent? That happens through networking. So a part of it was to help get people in the same room that had the same goals, and we came up with this cool concept of the Actors Expo where we offer guest speakers and it's vendors and
seminars.
All types of seminars.
Yeah.
You can
really
learn
cool.
all about the business by just coming to this one-day convention. It's been extremely successful. And not only that, I think that every year it's been growing because more people are intrigued and more people are wanting to, they want to learn. They want to be a part of this business. So yeah, it's just been a really great opportunity to be able to do this, to present this to the city of Buffalo. And again, there's no other... We have people that travel from other cities.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
You can find specific conventions for maybe very specific aspects of some of the things that are included at our expo. In New York, I'm sure. Yeah, but all of the things in one place with the attention that you're given at our expo. Like Peter said, there is definitely nothing like this on the East Coast, and it's it's another reflection to producers and executives outside of Buffalo when they see that we have this event that's continuously growing. They see how hungry people are. They see what is brewing here, essentially, you know. So
we had a big producer that was a executive producer for New Line that we worked with, and he attended the Expo last year, and he was blown away. He was blown away. Right now, he's come here a few times to produce some movies, but he was blown away just at and when you think as a producer, what makes Buffalo attractive, right? So they're going to look at it and say, okay, well, the tax credit, and then they have, the film studios, they have the architecture, but we wanted these producers to also fall in love with the talent that's here, and when they see all the types of resources that we're offering, they're absolutely blown away and impressed, and that's what keeps those producers coming back to Buffalo.
You're selling yourselves a little short because it's also for producers and production people in general. It's catered mostly to the actors, but there's classes in how to be a PA. There's resources for other people. A lot of the people that make films in the For Everyone Project end up going. Sometimes they have a table so they can meet actors and they can meet people. So there's a lot of reasons to go if you're in other roles in the film industry too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I went a couple of years ago, I went in blind and I was absolutely blown away by how kind everyone was, how many great different tabling there was. There's a lot of vendors. Including theater vendors. There was demonstrations on how to do safe stage combat for film, which I was really blown away by. I thought it was so well executed and explained. And then, there was literal classes going on. It was just like a whole hub. I couldn't believe it was all happening right in my backyard.
So they were teaching fight scenes?
Yeah.
we do have stunt school, of the choreographer. Yeah. They're going to be doing a tribute to Chuck Norris this year.
Oh, that's right.
They're doing a tribute to old Chuck.
Wow.
Old Chuck.
The Indiana Jones show in Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
I was blown away by the act, how they teach you, how they you have to miss slightly and all that. And I remember being a little kid and being blown away by that.
This is a Chuck Norris story here, but when I was a kid, I was really into martial arts as a child, and I get karate magazines and stuff like that. And in the back, there was a specialty product that were Chuck Norris kicking jeans that were jeans that had extra
had to have those.
They had a panel cut into them so you could move your legs.
It's the only way you could do it.
Wow.
I never had them, but maybe I can find some in
He had a monopoly on that market too.
You guys want to do Casting Buffalo merch? Clearly, kicking jeans.
Kicking jeans.
Yeah.
Tribute to Chuck.
That's right.
In memory of Chuck.
In honor of his childhood. In honor of just bring it all together.
Man. So you guys already talked about wearing a lot of hats, and I was wondering if you could kind of talk about what other hats you guys wear in the Western New York community.
Ooh.
Yeah. So for me, I'm an actor as well, but I consider Peter Johnson as a brand, right? Okay. So although, Casting Buffalo is a part of my company, I'm an ensemble member at the Road Less Traveled Theater. Yeah. I have an internship that I offer to early career artists of color there. It's called the Bridge Program. Nice. And that's a paid internship opportunity, that students get. I also host a TV show over at UB. It's called That UB Life. Oh my God. So I'm always just very active, but again, that's why I said it's for me. I have a brand that's out here, and Casting Buffalo is a part of that brand. Nice. Harry's also a producer. Harry runs a craft services business too.
Ooh. A crafty?
Yeah, I do. I work in the film world and craft service. I also do occasional work in locations as well. So those are the other hats. Occasionally I wear kicking jeans.
I'm Googling that as soon as this is over. I'm going to buy you that magazine on eBay. Well, I'm going to find it, the ad.
I can't wait.
Get the jeans, everything.
And for those who don't know, because I was really confused, because people were like, crafty, and I didn't know what anyone, I was like, do we do arts and crafts when we're not?
What do we do here?
Got a lot of downtime acting. You got to wait.
Literally, I was like, I brought a book. But
some stuff out. Yeah.
But craft services is literally the food and beverage that they provide the talent and the crew on stage, or not on stage, on set. Yeah. And it's a big deal.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's a huge deal.
It's just to preface. I can't even say it. Preface.
Preface.
Just to preface, if I can say it right. It is not catering. So on a major film set, you have crafty or craft service, and then you have catering, right? Catering is a hot meal that has to be offered on a major film set 6 hours into when the call time is. Every film set that's mandated. It has to be a sit down, has to be several options, has to be hot. There's a lot of qualifications that it has to meet. On those same big sets, you also have craft service. Now, craft service is considered a sort of gift of the production, if you will. It's not a required thing. So like catering is required by the contracts they hold with the unions on these major films. Craft service is not necessarily a mandated thing. So, but any big production recognizes the importance of it and really invests heavily in it. So essentially you could think of it as kind of like the water cooler on a film set. So you're going to go there for light snacks, beverages of all kinds, but you may go there with no appetite at all or really no need to drink anything. You just want to go and get away from what's happening. You know what I mean? So it's a place to sort of take yourself out of the film world, which can be very intense.
If your film has weak or no craft.
Oh man, I don't even want to listen. Don't even. It's bad if you have a bad like the good movies have good craft services. Harry will be working on it. And I'll say, "Well, Harry, what are you doing today?" And I'm making croissants. Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah.
On a big film set, like really, when I worked on the Showtime show Billions for 2 weeks,
Cool.
like way back when, years back in New York, and I got to see what their craft service setup was. It was literally a truck that you entered in from the back. On either side, endless snacks, one after the other, in those sort of mechanisms that like you grab one thing, there's the same thing right behind it. I'm talking anything. Multiple kinds of everything. So beef jerky, you had 6 options. Like, I'm telling you, like, you could go, your jaw would be to the floor. On the other side, it was any beverage. Anything from multiple energy drink options, espressos, whatever you want.
Why am I don't like, I want one-stop shop. You go in, you entered the back, and you exited there, and you came out like you just went through, CPS or something.
But it keeps the crew in positive spirits.
It's so
energy
important. We just talked about positivity on the set because the camaraderie that keeps everybody. It's a nice little bonus.
Imagine everyone being hangry at the same time.
Hell no, you can't work with those people.
You'd have a
But like, what would be a craft service table that looks bad to you?
Well, all you have to do is go on Instagram and go to #BadCrafty.
Oh no!
There's an Instagram page that anybody can see, and people in the industry
Post it.
Yeah, they put people. It's very shameful. Yeah, they will shame you.
I'm so looking this.
Yeah.
#BadCrafty.
#BadCrafty.
Oh, that's gonna send me down a rabbit hole today. I'm very excited.
Yeah, so you'll see firsthand how pathetic things can be.
Oh yeah.
I'm picturing like saltines and some, like wet wipes.
That's it.
So what helps someone stand out during an audition, and what would you say is the biggest difference between acting for the film versus acting for the stage if you're going to be doing an audition?
I watch a lot of auditions. I watch every audition that we get. I comb through everything. And the biggest advice that I always give actors, okay, is, and I'm going to give you an example of this, is authenticity, right? Being yourself, right? Only because how you deliver something is going to be completely different than how Harry delivers something. And when you add your own flair and your own pizzazz and your own charisma and all of those things, that's what's going to make you stand out. The problem that most actors have is that they're scared to be themselves.
Yeah.
Right? And what they do is they look at the script and they think about how they would interpret the script as the character, not thinking that you are the character. What are you going to bring that's different to this? And we get caught up in, if it's a theater, you get caught up in the stage directions, or you get caught up in the, in the camera instructions or the descriptions of the character, and we don't focus on ourselves, right? So I'll give you an example of this. I travel a lot, and oftentimes, I'll be on an airplane, and you know when the flight attendant is giving the flight instructions, right? Oftentimes when you hear it so much, it's the same, you tune it out. because I've heard it a million times until I get that one flight attendant that says, "Good evening, passengers."
Right.
Wow. Whoa, hey, now you got my attention. What's going on here? Right? It's because it's different.
Yeah.
And that's the same analogy when I'm looking at auditions and I'm seeing and I'll watch the audition and I'll have 20 in a row that'll do the exact same thing. The same delivery,
choices are you
the
making?
same choice, the same cadence. They will do and it's because it's what's said in the instructions. But what are you doing that's different, right? And that's not to say that you have to do so many things that's off the script. No, but you're going to bring your own flair to it. That's the biggest advice that I would give actors is to be yourself and make choices that are in between the lines, right? When you see a script, and the lines are there, those are the lines. But what now, is this person angry? Is this person upset? Are they happy? What type of mood what type of day have you had? All of those small intricacies mean so much in an audition that it can make you stand out from hundreds of people by just making small choices.
Yeah. But that's something that comes with experience and learning yourself too. Like, it's not something that I think anybody can develop overnight, you know what I mean? But you allow yourself experiences and you can get to that point as an actor, you know?
It's we mentioned earlier, your job is to audition, right? So when you treat that as a job, every audition, you should be looking for the opportunity to audition, not to necessarily get the role, but to get better at the craft, right? To say, okay, now this is my third audition. I don't know what I'm going to do. Let me take some chances. Let me get bold. Let me show my own flair. Let me do something different than everyone. That's what actors should relish in, that opportunity, versus always saying, well, I audition for everything, but I don't get it. Well, are you doing anything different?
Yeah.
You're looking at the job as the reward when really the job is the audition. That would be my biggest advice, is that oftentimes we are afraid to be ourselves.
Yeah.
And it may be easier said than done for some people, but if you can do that, if you can be unique, if you can make choices that aren't, that's a good balance of choices that you're injecting into it. That is the touch. It's like goes back to the touch or the feel. You know what I mean? You're going to get that after a certain point of time. It's not going to come right away. You know what I mean? But with practice, with auditioning, you start to develop this,
Yeah, it sounds like almost like kind of like along with being genuine, like finding the ease in the role or not showing the work as much as the character.
Well, it's everybody's up against too. I think you got to remind people, like, it's a natural human battle we all have to always want to overcomplicate things, right? Apply it to anything and you'll find that that's what we do as human beings. You try to tell a story. How many people tell a story very concisely without it being all over the place? You know what I mean? It's like we just, in our heads, we put up, it's a wall we put up,
I do want to throw out a plug for Podcasting Buffalo. Their podcast has so much information on best practices on how to audition and also how to act on set. They do a whole skit called Set-a-Kit, which is like pointing out the faux pas you can make if you do get onto a set and how to avoid those pitfalls. Ooh. So listen in for more great advice to this podcast.
I need help with my Survivor tape.
And follow them on their social media, because then if you're not sure what the vibe is like, you can catch all the amazing clips they have from the episodes. You guys have had some really cool guests too.
Celebrities.
Do you have Bill Matar? One of my
Yeah.
first jobs in fundraising, he was the chair of Fire and Ice. It was an event he used to run. And we used to go to celebrate at his house after it was done. But when I saw Bill on this, I was like, oh my, I texted him.
That was great.
I told him, I was like, oh my God, you got him on the show. Yeah.
You got to think, at the end of the day, all his commercials, Bill's doing a lot of acting.
Actually, I'm going to text him about talking about the show, actually.
Doing a lot of acting.
I thought you were going to say Bill Fichtner, but
No, Bill Matar. No.
Also,
I got to text him.
Well, while Kenny texts William Matar, are you guys ready for some rapid fire?
lay it on.
Rapid fire. Let's do it.
That's Rita's
Let's do it.
and Juliana.
We love a rapid fire. You don't actually have to answer rapidly, but we just call it rapid fire.
Cool.
Horror or rom-com?
Horror.
Horror for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go horror.
Yeah,
That's your favorite horror.
I love horror.
What would you?
I would say horror because, like, I mean, like you could be like a monster, or you could be like covered in blood or something. Like
Dead
the
body.
possibilities are
That's
endless.
Rita's goal is to be a dead body, and
Just want to be a dead body.
Oh man!
Oh, all right.
Let me. I was casting. This was the first Purge when it was shooting here, and they would shoot these scenes, but we had talent laying on the street for hours, like just on their face.
You're gonna get her all.
That's my dream.
We've also heard about this over and over again.
That's what I want. I want to lay on a street.
I just love watching horror movies and seeing someone dead in the background and being like, how long were they there?
Oh yeah.
I've heard, as an actor, I've heard there's nothing you can do that has you more grounded.
That's a clip right there. That's how we promote this episode right there.
Yeah, but really, on that note, how long does someone stay on the ground for?
Oh man. So, okay, so I'm gonna give you two examples. Doing the first Purge, I mean, this was scenes of hours. We also had what movie was that we were doing with the Amish?
It's Paranormal Activity.
So Paranormal Activity, and
they had to lie in the snow.
they were lying in the snow
Yeah.
for hours. I'm talking. People
That's real method acting.
Yeah.
Real method
Face frozen.
acting.
For Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
I love those. I haven't seen those movies.
a lot
Now that
of
you bring-
Paranormal Activity 7 was shot.
I was gonna say, what one was that from?
Yeah. Fireplace 2,
Yep.
yeah, we've done a lot. We do, Buffalo is anywhere USA.
Yeah.
We don't have palm trees, we don't have skyscrapers.
Yeah.
You can dress Buffalo up to be anywhere in the world.
Good point.
And Guillermo del Toro brought up how awesome our architecture is.
Yeah, yes, that too.
Rally.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Night shoots or early morning calls.
For me personally, I like the night shoots. I know people are like, that's crazy. And after a while, it does get taxing, but it's kind of fun because like you kind of feel like you're, staying up on a school night or something.
It's like sleepover camp.
Yeah, I went to the Sabres game yesterday. I felt like, ooh, alive. I went out on a school night.
You know the SpongeBob, like at the Krusty Krab at night.
And you see things that you don't normally see. You know what I mean? Like the perspectives of where you're filming, the locations you're at,
I'm a night owl, so always a night shoot versus an early morning. Always.
Man, I like to sleep, man. I'm gonna go early morning, man. I'll get up if I'll do a 6 a.m. call time, I'm okay with that.
Oh my God.
I'd rather
No.
Yes.
All right, slate or no slate?
Yeah, I think you always have to slate.
Yeah.
Let me just say, the slate is so important, especially to casting directors. And the reason why I say that is that post-COVID, we have gotten away from doing the general casting calls, right? So like COVID has taught the industry that they're able to, cast through self-tape auditions. So that's kind of like what we have as our new norm. The problem with that is with self-tapes is that at one point when you were doing a general casting call, you could sell the room. You could come in and smile, hey, how you doing? Oh man, how you doing? And everybody's, oh, we like him, right? Before you even do your audition. At this point now, because they're not doing those in person, you lose the ability to win the room.
Right.
So now the only opportunity you have to do that is through a slate, right? So I encourage actors, show some personality. Let me see who you are. I saw your audition as the character. Now win me over. Like let me see a smile. Tell me, where you're from. I want to know specific things about you that is going to make you more warming.
Yeah.
Right. So that's I always tell actors to make sure they do a good slate.
Yeah, I'm pro slate. I think the other point I would just say to what Peter said was, if you can buy yourself 5, 6, 7 more seconds to what you already have for your audition, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you take that? I mean, you're giving people another chance to see you as who you really are, because that audition you're playing it as you would, like Peter said, you want to be true to yourself, you really want to be you, but you're portraying a character, right? That 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, whatever your slate is beforehand, that is really you. That's time for you to really truly be who you are. And the only time to sell yourself outside of the audition. So yeah, you should definitely take advantage of it. And it's informative. It gives us actual information too.
Right.
That's helpful.
Right.
As someone who signs off on auditions sometimes, I want to know what's up with someone a little bit too. So I like to see it get a little personality.
In that vein, is it a natural light or a ring light for an audition, do you think?
I'm okay with the ring light. I'm okay with it. I think that for auditions, what's important is that I see you, right? Let me just tell you, about auditions, I also want to see your eyes, right? Let me just tell you, it's on camera, you have no idea how important it is and how you can tell a story with your eyes. So if that's through a soft light or a ring, a ring cam, whatever it is, as long as your face is lit, and I can see your eyes, you can tell a story through your eyes. So I would say always to highlight that.
Yeah, I think either works, in my opinion. I would just say if you are using a ring light, I would just be careful to make sure, like what Peter said, that you try to provide for as much of an even scenario with that ring light, because I have also looked through people's eyes and I've seen the damn ring light. So,
Right. That's what I'm
You ever see they got glasses on or something and they do a ring light and it's just like this ring bouncing around in their eyes?
You'll see that. I'm not too bothered by that, only because I know, especially like if the glasses are like a prop or something like that.
Sure,
You know what I mean? If it's if it's who you are, if you're if it's a part of the character or something, or you wear those naturally, then yeah, I may have a problem with it. But I'm not too. That doesn't bother me. Seeing reflections and stuff like that.
I'd say overall, it's just having good lighting, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like this or that.
I want to be able to see you.
Yeah.
I want to see you.
Yeah.
Getting near a diffused window light or something,
And let me
real
tell you,
even.
it's important to directors. I've seen it where directors will watch an audition, and because of how someone's lit, they will say, I want this person and I'm going to do a shot like this. Because they'll look at and they'll say, I know I can frame this person really well.
Yeah.
So that's why it's also important to be well lit in your audition.
Just like the importance of a good headshot, or the importance of not having a bad headshot.
Yeah.
The way that the self-tape looks must have some little, if anything, perception thing. If it's a real lousy self-tape with terrible lighting, even if it's a great performance, they may have just this little bit of a jab in it because it's like you got this bad first impression. It's not to say you can't overcome that. You can overcome that, but why not have everything be the best it can possibly be?
Right.
Best advice when going on a film set?
I mean, I think one of the biggest things that we tell people and try to impart in them, especially if they've never been on a film set before, is to just be very receptive and sort of ready and amicable to what the production wants from you, you know what I mean? So don't be off in your own world. Don't make anything more difficult for them, So that's really, I think that's one of the number one things you can do, because if you can't do that, you won't be on film sets,
I'll just say, be cool.
Just be cool, man.
Yeah. Because even if you are the star, don't act like it. Don't be like a jerk. And if you're not the star, don't act like the star. You're not. Don't do that. That's bad. Yeah.
I would say read instructions. As casting directors, we send a ton of instructions that people don't read, right? Whether it's your call time, your location, how you dress, your wardrobe, any props to bring with you, to fill out your paperwork, all of those things, right? And when you don't do them or you don't listen to the instructions, I'm like, oh my gosh.
That'll bite you.
Absolutely, right? Now you have thrown the production off. Maybe you didn't bring the proper wardrobe items. Now the costume designers is ticked off at us because now they got to pull additional items for you. Or now the PAs, because you didn't complete your paperwork. Now the PAs got to spend more time with you, and now they're upset. Can you tell them all, bring their paperwork? You got to read instructions, right? You read the instructions. As long as you follow the instructions, I will continue hiring you.
That's really good advice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about casting in Western New York?
Well, I don't do as much as them, but the characters that come through. I
was going to say the people.
The friends you meet, the friends you make along the way.
Yeah. I'm a student of the craft, right? So, I appreciate every aspect of the craft. And what I love about casting Again, for me, it's not a job. I love watching the auditions. I love watching people come up with different things in different deliveries. And ultimately, for us, what we do is my job is to present all the possible options and the best options to the production and the director. And then I see, who the director chooses, right? Who's the director's vision. Essentially, we're artists in itself. And what I mean by that is that Harry will tell you, if it's background or something of that sort, they can't shoot those scenes without us collaborating to paint that picture, right? So we're considered artists in itself of casting, and that's kind of what I love. I love the beauty of how certain characters, even background, or if it's just the speaking roles, how they make a film come to life.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
Yeah. Yeah, we paint pictures with people, and I'm a people person, I love people. I've always, as much as we hate some people, I love people. I do. At the end of the day, I wouldn't do this if I didn't. I think about when I was a little kid, I often had, people often had to tell me, well, stop staring. You know what I mean? Because I think I'm infatuated by people. You know what I'm saying? And like that, you have to be, if you want to watch people audition all the time. You know what I'm saying? You have to be, if you want to be able to recognize talent in people.
So how can folks stay up to date on all things Casting Buffalo?
Yeah, I think that, follow us on social media. The beauty about Casting Buffalo is that there are so many different ways you can find out about what we're casting. And as I mentioned before, it's an independent casting company. We are looking for anyone and everyone. Everyone has an opportunity to submit to us. So how do you hear about that? You don't have to have an agent. You don't have to have a manager. You can go to our Instagram page and see what we're casting, right? You can go to our Facebook page, see what we're casting. You can go to our direct website, castingbuffalo.com, see about our events and things of that sort. I think that that's the beauty of it, because we don't, it's not like a select group can only follow us. Anyone can, even if you can subscribe to us as well. And like, we send out notices before we send them out to the public, as well. If you are a subscriber to Casting Buffalo, that's not, of course, the public is going to get it, but you may have an extra day to work on that role, right, before that deadline. And that could make a huge difference, right? In now in the organization or the choices that you make with that. So it's just follow us on social media, go to our website, and you will find out about everything that we're doing.
Nice.
Another great way to get into acting a little bit is through the 48-hour film pod.
Period.
Buffalo 48 Hour on Instagram and whatnot for your first role in a film, low pressure, or to make your first film if you want to do that. No barrier to entry. You could just try, and you won't fail. You'll do great.
And the beauty in that, this year is going to be a different year that we're going to be collaborating with the 48-Hour Film Festival, because it's, if you are passionate about doing this, and this is something that you want to do, again, you can wait around, you can audition, you can do all those things, or you can go and join a team and get yourself some footage, right? That's how you market yourself as an actor. One of the things that we get requests all the time, especially if a director likes you, they'll say, well, just see if they have any footage. I need a reel. I want to see their movements, right? You have to have material ready and say, hey, here is me doing this scene. How do you get that if it's not through a paid gig? You get it through the 48-Hour Film Festival by joining a team and collaborating and getting that footage of yourself.
And it's ready in 2 days. You're not waiting months and months and months and hoping it gets done.
Right.
It's done in 2 days, or else, that's
it's
how
a
it goes.
lot of fun. And Jordan, you and your team, like the way you guys run the competition is so fun and welcoming. And I think everyone should do it at least once if they're curious about it.
That's wonderful feedback, and it's a pleasure and a joy to do it. That's what we do it for.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so very much for joining us today, for talking with us. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. All right. I'm going to do some quick campus shout shout outs, and then I will let everyone go back to their work days, whatever they may be. Thank you again, Harry, Peter, Jordan. You guys are the best. Sincerely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
I loved it.
Join the Shays Young Professionals and Sense of Imagination on April 24th for a candle making workshop at Shays Buffalo. Create your own 8-ounce custom candle with a scent perfect for spring. Tickets include your own custom 8-ounce candle, a custom label you will make, a complimentary beverage, and a mini stage tour of Shays Buffalo. Pure Glitter, a regional premiere from Second Generation Theater, will have performances at the Shays Smith Theater from May 1st through the 17th. Musical Fair's production of Hairspray at Shays 710 Theater will have performances May 7th through the 24th. And Shay's film series returns on Sunday, May 17th at 1 p.m. with the Minecraft movie. Reserve your tickets at shays.org. Until next time, we hope you enjoyed the vibes, got some tea. Check us out on Shays Buffalo social media. Kenny, why don't you play us out?
Wait, they're going to know I don't play the piano now.
Oh, how did they find out?
Outro track. Everybody thinks I play the piano. Can't show this footage. Can't show this footage.
It doesn't help that I also end it by going, he doesn't play.
Play. Doesn't even
Now
go
they're going to
here.
think I'm a fraud.
Cast Party is presented by Shays Performing Arts Center.
Produced by Cassandra Lippert, Ken Lazewski, myself, Juliana Tracy, and Rita Sirianni.
Theme song by John Michael Ogletree.
Audio mixing by Dave Lenhart.
Logo and graphics designed by Acacia Crozier.
Marketing and social media by Bridget Neeson.
Please rate, review, and subscribe to Shays Performing Arts Center presents Cast Party, wherever exceptional podcasts are downloaded.
Or visit us at shays.org.
Bye-bye.